So today we're going to talk about a subject that has been talked about a lot on the YouTube scene recently, a very hot subject, especially with what a few YouTubers in the stock market scene have done recently, and that is why are so many stock market YouTubers quitting at the moment. And as someone who does make content, someone that makes content on YouTube, I think that I will be able to give you some insights that maybe as a viewer you don't see, and my point of view on this. So yeah, hope it is useful, and also hopefully there's a bit of knowledge in here as well, not just to do with the stock market YouTube scene in general, but investing wise as well, about mindset as well. So first of all, I guess we'll start off with me. When will I be quitting YouTube? Well, the answer to that is probably never. Well, there could be a point. The only time I can see myself quitting YouTube is when I don't either have enough time for it, which I think I should be okay for that going forward, or I stop enjoying it. Because that's the whole reason why I made it. I made my YouTube channel because I enjoy talking about stocks, and I think that the whole reason why I started YouTube originally is because I did all this research myself, and I thought, you know what, if I share this on the internet, maybe someone that's looking at the same thing as me, maybe looking at the same stock as me, if I share this information with them, they might see it from a different light. Maybe I find something that they don't notice. So I just tried to be a little bit helpful with that, and that's how I originally started my YouTube channel around about 6 years ago now. And yeah, until that changes, I will continue to do YouTube videos. So for me, you won't see me leaving in the next coming few weeks or months, so don't worry about that. But what we have seen recently is a lot of big YouTubers. The big YouTubers are tending to sell out of their positions and still mainly post a couple of videos, but especially down in the smaller scene, like the kind of 10,000 subscriber to the 50,000 subscriber count, I'd say you've seen so many of them YouTubers like disappear in the last kind of weeks and months. It's been massive, the drop off in there, and it kind of comes down to two bits. So the first bit is first to do with the comment and the reaction to the viewers from the viewers that I'm seeing right now, and the next is some other kind of points. So first of all, I would say part one, the hate. There's a lot of hate comments out there at the moment. That is a big thing. I'm getting them, in my comment section right now. There is the amount of hate comments and negativity out there is very intense, and I can tell you, when you're getting them comments, daily on a lot of videos, it can affect you. Personally, for me, it doesn't really affect me. I've got quite a bit of a thick skin, and I kind of know where I have a lot of confidence in a lot of my decisions, and it doesn't really get to me. But when you are kind of getting a lot of these aggressive comments in the comment section, and as well as that, if you multiply, for me, I get, probably 2,000 views a video. If you start multiplying that and you get 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 views a video, that the amount of comments that the more hateful comments you're getting, it carries on multiplying, and you're getting that every day, every video. It can start getting to you. So at the moment, there's a lot of hate comments out there on the YouTube scene within the last kind of 12 months. And why has that in particular happened in the last 12 months? Well, just look at the stock market. Look at the stock market, look at the difference where we are in the last 12 months, especially the last kind of 3 or 4 months, to where we were the 12 months period. The last 12 months period before that, stocks were going up every day. It was quite an easy market, easy to make money. Probably got a little bit too bullish. Stocks were going to too crazy valuations. Stocks that were generally not making profit, not really making revenue, not really any proven business model were even going up. The amount of content creators that I was seeing jumping on penny stocks 12 months ago was a little bit scary. That was a little bit of a worrying time. And now we hit a bear market. The euphoria has gone down to the bear market, and that is rotation. We've gone from a very bullish market to a very bear market, and because we've gone to a bear market now, there's a lot of fear out there. A lot of investors are down on their positions, and most of these investors are mostly new as well. So for them personally, this is a bit of panic here. This is the first time that they've been down on a lot of their positions, and now that they're down on a lot of positions and there's a lot of fear out there, they're worried and they're a little bit angry potentially. They need someone to blame. They're looking at people, a lot of the YouTube scene that were getting praised a few months ago, a few years ago, and now looking for someone to blame. And that's obviously one part of the thing, is that a lot of these comments at the moment are because the stock market is down. All of a sudden, okay, we need someone to blame. I'm angry at this position, I'm angry that I'm down this much, and that's what's generally happening. That is the kind of stage of where we're at in the fear side of it, and we've gone from, it's quite a hard mindset when you've had 2 years of a very good run and then boom, down so quickly. And everyone kind of claims to be a long-term investor, or when the dips happen, or I'll buy the dip. And now that we've had such a long period of time, everyone's like going, oh, this is actually what a downtrending market is like. And for a lot of people, that's the retail investors, that's their first time going for the dip, it's time to get to them a little bit. And this is the big test of your emotions. You know, the amount of retail investors now that we're seeing getting into the situation where they were buying at highs and now they're selling at lows, and they're a little bit angry, like, oh, you know what, I can't handle this anymore, I'm going to take a loss. Oh, now I've took a loss. Oh, I heard so and so talking about this stock, I'm going to blame them, and I'm going to blame them for the decision for talking about this stock, and that leads to a lot of negative comments. You know, it's pretty much a lot of the stocks at the moment are down, you know, 20, you know, even the likes of PayPal and Facebook, you know, they're down, you know, nearly 50%, and then even more of what I'd say the YouTube scene stocks, which are tend to be more growth stocks, you know, a lot of them are down, you know, 60-70%. So there's a lot of anger and fear out there with stock prices going down, and that's leading to directing towards a lot of YouTubers at the moment. And then this leads on to part two, which is the lack of experience. So at the moment, obviously you got all this pressure from a lot of people, a lot of investors, a lot of retail investors that are angry about stocks being down and wanting someone to blame. Now, the next part goes down to the lack of experience from the YouTubers' point of view. So at the moment, a lot of the YouTubers in the last kind of 2 years are new investors themselves. Like, without doubt, you know, the amount of YouTubers that popped onto the scene within the last, you know, 2 years, there's been an explosion in the YouTube scene. You know, previously, prior to probably 2019, I didn't know anyone else from the UK doing stock market videos. You know, you look at the stock market now, there's plenty of UK stock market YouTubers out there, and it's same in the US, there's plenty of stock market YouTubers out there, and there's a lot of explosion in the last 2 years of YouTubers on the YouTube scene. And what has happened is, obviously, they have hardly any experience themselves going through dips. Now, the thing is, as well, is for them personally, this is the first time, you know, a lot of these new YouTubers kind of caught the back end of the, you know, the 2020 rally out of the CV dip. Now, that CV dip was very fast going down, but it was very fast coming up. And if you were kind of in that kind of CV dip, a lot of these new investors kind of caught really the back end of that dip, or most of the rally going up. They didn't really experience going through the dip and coming through the other side. So for a lot of investors, this is the first time being at the top and making the way all the way down to the bottom, which is a total different ball game. So you've got a lot of new investors, a lot of new YouTube investors, and this is the first dip and no experience. And so you combine with that they're kind of seeing their bank account or the stockbroker's account dipping down a huge amount. They've never been through this before, and then you add on the top of the pressure of that there's all these comments coming in every day that are negative, and you start questioning your own decision making. And this is what this big combination of all this pressure is at the moment. And then when you add into the top of this is that you have basically what has happened in the last 12 months is you've had retail investors pretty much leave the stock market because they're, you know, the dip has got to them and they've quit and they've left and looking for someone to blame. So you got all the pressure of the negative comments, or even not bothering with investing anymore. You've got these, you know, new investors in the last kind of 12 months making YouTube videos, and they've got now the pressure of their account going down. So they're worried about that. They've got the pressure of, you know, the negative comments in the comment section at the moment. And that's led to, you know, a lot of the view bases in the YouTube scene have halved. You know, you look from a year ago to where we're at right now, most content creators, the views have halved at the moment. And what does that mean if the views have halved? Well, that means that their YouTube revenue has halved as well. And this kind of comes into two different categories. So you got big YouTubers selling and small YouTubers quitting. And why I think so many YouTubers are quitting the scene at the moment is for the big YouTubers that are quitting but still making videos at the moment. The reason why they're quitting is because it's just the pressure of the comments getting to them, and they've kind of just panicked and gone, okay, this dip might just keep going down forever. I'm going to panic sell. You know, I'm seeing my broker's account going down lower and lower. I'm going to panic sell. But for a lot of these big YouTubers, even if the views are halved, even if the YouTube revenues halved, they're still making pretty good money and they're still selling a lot of courses at the moment, or have that course income. So they don't really want to lose that part of the income really. So for a lot of them, okay, we're just, you know what, we're going to leave it, but I'm still going to, you know, obviously make the videos to have some income coming in. The only big YouTubers that are leaving aren't coming back are basically the ones that don't really rely on their YouTube income, as you've probably seen. Now for the small YouTubers, there's a lot of small YouTubers leaving the stock market because, or the YouTube scene at the moment, is because they've gone, you know what, I'm fed up with this. I've had, you know, so many negative comments. My broker's going down at the moment. My YouTube revenue is in half of what it was. What's the point of me doing this? And for a lot of these smaller YouTubers that come in that 10,000 to 50,000 subscriber rate, a lot of them won't be making too decent amounts of money. A lot of them will, I would guess, are somewhere between making probably 5,000 a year to up to 50,000 a year. And a 50% drop off will mean a big, massive difference on their income. And they're thinking, you know what, it's not worth it for this negativity. And also the pressure they have of the stock market going down. Maybe the dip has got to them and they've sold out the stocks. So that's happening as well, which obviously isn't positive, and that's a combination of what's going on there for the big YouTubers and the small YouTubers at the moment. And part 3, I guess I'd finish off with me, and that's why, personally for me, when will I look to quit? Well, for me personally, views, money from the YouTube side of it doesn't really matter to me. Where a lot of these big YouTubers will probably continue because they're still making decent amounts of money, where there's a lot of small YouTubers out there that are looking at the revenue and going, you know what, now it's down half of what it is and I'm getting all this pressure and all this negativity. It's just not worth it for me anymore. Personally for me, it doesn't matter, like I said at the start of the video, for me personally, I enjoy making videos. And for me personally, you've got to remember that I went through 2017 without getting paid anything on YouTube. You've got to remember for 2018, I made videos on YouTube and I didn't get paid a penny for them. In 2019, I made videos on YouTube. I didn't get a paid penny for them. In 2020, it was only till about half the year that I actually started getting paid for YouTube, and in 2021 was actually my first ever year in full getting paid for YouTube. So you've got to remember that in that process, I have generally made many years of videos on YouTube without getting paid for it. And once again, it goes down to the reason that I always enjoy making YouTube videos and it's never been about the money for me. Don't get me wrong, I'll hold my hands up now and say that obviously it's a major benefit that I do get paid for making these videos anymore, but it's never been my aim. So for me, it's not really a bit of a big issue to me. And even now that my views are in half and my YouTube money is in half of what it was, say, a year ago, it's still not a major issue to me. And once again, even at the peak of, say, when YouTube was exploding on the stock market scene, when you look at the hours that I put into these videos to make them and the pay, I think it works out with something like £3 an hour. So even in the peak times, it wasn't even really too much of a benefit for me at that time. And I guess it kind of comes through to for me personally, I would like to count myself as having a lot more experience at the moment. For me, I've not been on the YouTube scene or the stock market scene for 2 years. I've been on the YouTube scene and the investing scene for a lot longer period of time. And that puts me in a different light because it puts me in a place where I have major confidence in what I own and what stocks I own. And I have the confidence knowing that I've done full research on my investments. And I know that more than likely, 9 out of 10 of my investments or my stock market picks will perform, and that comes from looking at what has stocks I've had previously, the outcome of them, and I know that looking at a lot of these companies here that I invest in at the moment, I know now 9 out of 10 of them will do very well for me, and that's all I need. I only need 9 out of 10, maybe even 8 out of 10 of these stocks to perform quite well, and I will do very well from these stocks. Don't get me wrong, there's going to be a time where I'm definitely going to get a couple of picks wrong. 100% that's going to happen, but as long as it's only the odd 1 or 2 every so often, I am absolutely happy with that, and I will easily outperform the market as long as that happens. And looking at my stocks, I know that I've got stocks that will do very well, and that comes once again from experience. When you look at the stocks that I own or the stocks that I've owned more than 2 years, in that 2 to 5 year range that I hold them for historically, you'll know that a lot of my stocks, my track record is very good, and I know that they will perform very well. And even if you look at my stock market portfolio right now, if you take out the stocks that I have only invested, in the first kind of 12 months, 24 months of investment, if you look past the stocks that I currently own in my portfolio, past the 2 year mark, look at how a lot of them stocks have performed and the profits that are being taken from them stocks at the moment. And this kind of leads me on to my last point, is that what happens at the moment, and this is especially on the YouTube scene, and I don't know why it is on the YouTube scene, but you have so many stocks at the moment that, I talk about buying some stocks, and the amount of times I bought some stocks in the last 12 months, and people are judging them stocks off the first 5 weeks of holding them. And it's like, you buy your stock and it's up in the first 5 weeks, and everyone's like, oh, absolutely amazing, that stock you talked about is up. And it's like, yeah, but within 1 month's time it could be down. It could easily move that way. And it's the same when stock goes down. I've owned plenty of stocks in the last, new stocks that I've owned for potentially the last 6 months, 12 months, stocks I've owned for 12 months, and people going, oh, it's a terrible investment, that stock's down. And you're like, well, of course it's down. It's it's a new investment. Like there's a 50-50 shot if that goes up or down right now. You know, judge it after 2 to 5 years and tell me then if it works out. You know, what will happen with a new investment is if we're in a bull market, more than likely it'll do well. If we're in a bear market, and what have we just been through? We've been through an awful bear market, then it's probably going to be down in the first 12 months I hold it. Let's judge it after 2 to 5 years, and then we'll see if that turned out to be a good or bad investment. And that's especially what's happened on the YouTube scene right now, is that we've seen, I get it as well, is, you know, people judge your investments within the first kind of 5 weeks of, you know, buying them, and it's like, why? You know, if it's clearly long-term investment, let's judge it over a 2 to 5 year period of time. And like I said, when it comes back down to the confidence, I've been through, as you know, a lot of dips. I've been through the good points, the bad points. I've had the bad points where people have talked negatively about like some stocks and then they've been proven wrong. I know that, you know, when we come out of this bear market that we're in, I know that when we were out the bear market, I know that, you know, 9 out of 10 of my stock picks will do very, very well. And that's why I've got the confidence to kind of hold them, buy more, and still talk about them on the YouTube scene, I guess, because I know they'll work out. So yeah, I thought that was useful. I thought I'd talk about, from a content creator's point of view, what I've seen through the comment section wise, what I've seen through the lack of experience on the YouTuber side of it, and also from what that means to myself and what will happen to myself over the coming few weeks and months, and a little bit about the mindset as well that I have, and hopefully that will help you as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you could, hit the like button if you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.